Man and Machine is brought to you by Highflex Mobile Hose Service, Shannons Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, and the following sponsors.
Yeah, baby!
It's unbelievable!
That's what I'm talking about.
Welcome back. We're at the Phillip Island Classic Festival of Motorsport. It's one of our most iconic historic racing events here in Australia, and we absolutely love it. So sit tight and let's check out some amazing machines. Found a very interesting little Porsche here with a huge race history with Ernie Nagamatsu. Now, Ernie, what a fantastic machine this is. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, this is great. This is a 1958 Porsche Speedster, and we fondly called it Kilpatrick Speedster because Brigadier General James Kilpatrick scored a record by racing 33 straight years in SCCA racing. Now, that's not vintage racing. That's serious fender-to-fender racing in E-production. And not only that, he clocked in 55,000 SCCA race miles and he went to 2 runoffs. And so he was an aircraft pilot. This car is just the way he left it when he stopped racing. And if you look closely on the inside of the cockpit, he even has aircraft gauges to help him. And so this car has been around racing now for quite a while. We've had it for about 16 years after he stopped racing. So last year it was in England at Donington and Snetterton, and this year in New Zealand in January, it was a tribute to Porsche at the Festival of Motor Racing. And I think the one thing about this, people say, well, why was it so important beyond what it achieved? And I think from 1956, 57 to 1961 or so, the SCCA grids for E-production was sometimes 2/3 speedsters. And so what did that tell you? In the West Coast, being a Southern California car, actually that in itself, with that number of speedsters racing, was the biggest marketing element for Porsche.
Well, I found a bit of a living legend here when it comes to Formula 5000, a gentleman by the name of Ken Smith, who's been racing these things for a long, long time. Ken, it's great to see you here. How's it going for you this weekend?
It's good. We've had a couple of seconds today. We're on the pace. We're doing the same lap times as the leader, but only one can win, and we're having a good race with the guy, and that's what we like, competition.
It's great to see you still at the pointy end of the field. How long have you been doing this for, and how old are you, if I may ask?
I'm 75 in August, and this is my 58th season without missing one.
58th season.
Yep. Yeah, no, I'm happy to keep going. We're on the pace. I haven't lost any edge or reaction time, so why stop?
It just goes to show if you're still sharp and you've got your eye in and you can handle these things, then why not keep driving them? I mean, for those people out there that don't know, these cars are not an easy car to drive. They are a brute monster, aren't they?
They're a muscle car. You know, you've got to work them, and you've got to have respect for how much 600 horsepower they got. So you've got to know how to drive them. But they're not hard to drive. I say that, but I mean, I've driven them long enough. It's like putting a glove on now.
I mean, you think about it, 600 horsepower is a lot of power, but it's the power to weight with these things, isn't it? Really, in the average family sedan, they probably have a power to weight of about 1,1500 horsepower.
Yeah, well, this thing there is 630 kgs, and that's light, you know.
Unbelievable. And tell us about the car that you're driving this weekend.
Yeah, it's a Lola T332. It's virtually the same model as I originally had back in the 70s, and we found the car in a museum. It had been parked in a museum for 30 years in America, and it was Danny Ongai's car, Hawaiian driver, drove for Interscope Racing, and had done a couple of seasons, and it got locked away. So we got it out of there, and it was rebuilt, and two of the original guys that have been working with me for years from the 60s, they bought it in conjunction with me, and he set to, and the guy Barry Miller had been with me a long, long time. He rebuilt it, and it's like brand new, that car.
Fantastic. The car looks spectacular. Tell us about the engine. They are effectively a stock block, small block Chevy, aren't they, in this application?
Yeah, they're a small block Chev, and they're 5 litre alloy heads, and producing out that sort of power around 580, 590 horsepower.
Absolutely amazing. Well, thanks so much for talking to us, and all the best out there.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
In 1964/65 1.5 litre 261 BRM.
HighFlex Mobile Hose Service, your complete hose breakdown and on-site service partner. HighFlex Mobile Hose Service offers a complete range of quality guaranteed hydraulic and industrial hose and fittings products. We also specialise in preventative maintenance programs such as on-site hose condition auditing, testing and compliance. With our national fleet of qualified technicians, you can rely on HighFlex Mobile Hose Service's rapid response to all of your needs. Call 1300 HighFlex, 24 hours, 7 days a week. Do you have a hydraulic background? Come and join the dynamic HighFlex team. Check out opportunities at www.highflex.com.au.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons,
We've also got Shannon's home and contents cover.
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannon's.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
And be sure to head to Shannon's Club to see past episodes of Man and Machine and much more. Well, with Andrew Waring all the way from the UK, and he's got two very special cars here. Andrew, fantastic to see you. Tell us about these machines.
Well, basically we've two old Formula One cars. One is a 1964/65 1.5 litre 261 BRM driven by Graham Hill, Jackie Stewart and Richie Ginther, and came out here as a Tasman car in 65 for Jackie Stewart to win the Tasman Series.
Iconic era, wasn't it, for Grand Prix and Formula One back in those 60s, wasn't it? The cars were very fast, very powerful, very light and quite dangerous too, weren't they?
Yeah, very dangerous. I mean, there was a sort of massive fatality rate, and I suppose every year they lost quite a few drivers. I forget the exact statistics, but Jackie Stewart, did he lose 60 odd people through fatalities in motorsport in his career? So yeah, I mean, they were, as you say, very frail, and the circuits were nothing like as safe as they are now. So
they had nerves of steel.
Yeah, or something else.
Balls of steel.
Yeah, well, you've said that, not me, yeah. The other car is a 78 Williams FW06, when Frank Williams sort of bought second-hand Marches and other cars and was involved with Walter Wolf, and then decided to make his own with Patrick Head as a young engineer. And the first sort of Formula One model was the FW06 in 78, which they ran a single car entry for Alan Jones. Unfortunately, Lotus had introduced ground and effect technology, so it was probably sort of best of the rest at its very best. The following year, of course, Williams has made a better Lotus ground effect car, and Alan Jones went on to win the World Championship. But as far as Williams Grand Prix engineering, it was the first model that they produced. Yeah.
Gee, that's a really important car, isn't it? And of course, it's got the very iconic Cosworth 3-litre engine in it.
Of that era, most of the manufacturers bought Cosworths off the shelf, didn't they? Possibly Ferrari and BRM would still be floundering with their 12-cylinder things, but Lotus, McLaren, Shadow, all the rest, they all bought the Cosworth off the shelf and had some very good racing with them.
Well, I can never walk past a spectacular E-Type Jag. And we're here with the driver, Rhea Sauder. Rhea, fantastic to see you. How's it going for you?
It's very well, thank you. Car's running great. No problems.
Can you tell us a bit about the car?
Well, it's a 1961 semi-lightweight E-Type with aluminium engine, it's doing 350 horsepower, and a ZF 5-speed gearbox.
So now, last time I saw you racing over here in Australia, you were driving a GT 350 Shelby, and this must be quite different from that car.
It's very different, yes. It's a complete different driving. This one doesn't drift as much as the Mustang, but I like both things, so it's good fun.
I mean, this model Jaguar was a very iconic car back in the day, wasn't it? In the early 60s, it was way ahead of its time, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a good car for a good price at that time, I think. So, and it was very pretty and very fast, so there's nothing to compare with.
And it's starting to talk to me too, which is very important with cars. They all have a soul. You've got to get in there.
Damn, there's just no room under here.
There's no need to do this anymore when you can buy a tough lift hoist starting from only $26.50. With over 20 models in their range, including 2-post, 4-post, scissor lift, motorcycle and truck. They're great for storage too. All tough lift hoists have Australian standard certification and work-safe design registration. With an impressive warranty, in-house technical support and installation options Australia-wide, what are you waiting for? Check out toughlift.com.au.
I love my tough lift.
SP Tools, an Australian company supplying Australians with quality tools for nearly 30 years, with a nationwide network supplying and servicing automotive, construction, trade, commercial, industrial and hardware. If you need hand tools, air tools, cordless tools, compressors, pressure washers or generators, check out www.sptools.com for the leaders in innovation. SP Tools, the Australian tool company taking tools to the world. Available in over 33 countries.
Here at 303, we're as passionate as you are about protecting what you love to keep it looking like new. It's why we put 303 Protectant through excruciating tests to prove it will resist even the most unsettling stains. and prevent the fading and cracking caused by UV rays. Also, 303 will pass the ultimate test. Yours. Guaranteed to meet your high standards or your money back. We've got your number, 303.
We're with DARRYL HANSEN. He's a regular in the historic racing scene here in Australia, and he's got a new car. DARRYL, tell us about this machine. It looks amazing.
Well, it started off in America 12 months ago as a road car. It's a Shelby 350H hire car, and we brought it out here as a beautiful car. We've never touched the body. The body is as it appears now. Tore it to pieces, and everybody said, well, what are you going to do with this car? You're tearing it to pieces. But it's made into a race car. And it is a beautiful piece of gear. We're very happy with it. First time out yesterday. After practice and a race yesterday and 2 races a day, I'm starting to love it. And it's starting to talk to me too, which is very important with cars. They all have a soul. You've got to get in there, you know.
Now, the little 289, she's making some pretty serious horsepower, I hear.
Yeah, it's 600 horsepower and about 420 foot-pounds of torque. Runs to 8,500 and it gets there awfully quick.
This is a Vintage Racing Services build as well?
Yes, it is, yeah. Craig at Wagga Wagga in New South Wales turned the whole car into what you see it today.
He loves making horsepower. Now, a lot of people look at this and go, a Shelby? You're racing a genuine Shelby, but it has to be a genuine car to be eligible for this class, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. In Australia and in America, they have to be genuine Shelbys, and you've got to prove that. You know, you've got all the information.
So you're effectively running against Corvettes and all types of cars out there?
Yeah, the Corvettes have got a little bit over these, obviously because they've got fiberglass bodies and they've got big motors, where these little girls suffer a little bit in that area. But you know, who knows? Who knows?
It's still up there.
Hey, it's still early days with this car, you know, but I love it.
Lola T160, a Doc Shearson's car, which, you know, like a later model Can-Am car.
Always wanted your very own muscle car or classic? Then Image Classic Cars is your solution. Where pride, knowledge, quality and service counts for the ultimate experience. From award-winning concourse restorations to full custom builds, muscle cars to classics of all makes and models, right-hand drive conversions, even Australia-wide enclosed pickup and delivery for your pride and joy. Also currently taking orders for the spectacular Image Classic Cars Eleanor Mustang, custom built to suit your personal requirements. Image Classic Cars. Live the dream. A tough car needs a tough oil, and that's when you need Gulf Western Oil. It's Australian-owned, developed and manufactured in their state-of-the-art production facility. So no matter what you drive, you can be assured you're in the right hands for all your lubrication needs. Gulf Western Oil, the tough Australian. We're with LILO ZICRON here, and he's come all the way from California, USA, and he's got a bunch of cars here. LILO, great to see you. Tell us about the cars.
Well, yeah, we brought these... Bob Harbour wanted us to bring enough Can-Am cars for this event, so we brought 3 Lolas T70, a Mark 1, a Mark 2, and a Mark 3. And then I brought a Lola T160, which is it was a Doc Shearson's car, which, you know, like a later model Can-Am car. And then I brought an American Special called the Typhoon, a fabulous old car, you know, the 50s American Special type of car. And we've got a Nissan GTU, ex-IMSA race car. We brought in also a Sabra GT, a very unusual car, you know, a small bore, 1600cc, and a McLaren M8F. So all this, you know, put in a container, packed it all, and made it happen to come here and be part of this great event.
And tell us about the Typhoon. What engine does that run in it?
The Typhoon has what they call the nailhead, a Buick nailhead engine, a 50s, you know, hot rod type of engine with 3 deuces, you know, and
6 carbs.
Right, exactly. And it's a handful, you know, drum brakes, you know, it's a fun car. You slide it, you just do whatever it does, you know, and try to hold it on the ground. But it's you know, it's an American legend. Young man built it, you know, out of high school and built a couple of the cars and was famous. I mean, he did win races, had the pole position in Laguna Seca in '57, so it got very famous from that.
That is amazing. I mean, you know what I really respect about people like yourself is that you drive and you use these cars. You don't just circulate around. You are driving these cars hard, aren't you?
We drive. There's no need for me to have a car that I'm not going to enjoy. You know, museum type of cars at this point in my life, have no interest in me. If I cannot drive him, or at least my friend drive him, I won't have him.
Well, you only live once, don't you?
That's right, and I want to live it right.
Well, we're in the pits with Peter Strauss here, and he's got a very special car, a car that was owned and raced by Jack Brabham. Peter, great to see you. Tell us about this machine.
Jack had this car in '68 for the first time in Melbourne, Australia, and he raced it at Sandown. And that was the first time the car was actually raced. It was built in England in '68. It was supposed to be the Formula One car, but they brought in new conditions, so they had to have bags in the tanks, which unfortunately can't fit into these tanks because the chassis is involved in it. So the car was brought up here and raced in a Tasman series. And Jack raced it first at Sandown in '69 and then at Bathurst. And in Bathurst he beat the lap record by over 4 seconds.
Wow. So this is running the 3-litre Repco Brabham
It is
engine?
running the F1 3-litre motor, but it also has the 2.5-litre Tasman motor as well.
Wow. Now, most people will say, my goodness, you drive this car on the racetrack. I mean, I don't know of any others actually racing at the moment worldwide. Would I be correct in saying that?
As far as I know at the moment, out of the F1 V8 Brabhams, this is the only one that's on the track at the moment. They're getting so valuable, they're sitting in museums and private collections.
And we are talking millions of dollars, aren't we?
They're not cheap.
And how's it performing for you here this weekend?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, my ability as a driver would only be at best 70% of its capability.
There's not too many people out there that'll be quite as good as Sir Jack, is there?
I'm no Jack Brabham.
But you're still up the pointy end, aren't you?
Yeah, well, that's the car, not me.
How do you find it performs against some of the newer vehicles out there?
It hasn't got the grip that cars with aerodynamics have, and I'm up against much smaller capacity cars, but they've got aerodynamics. So I absolutely kill them in the straights, but they beat me around the corners.
I mean, these cars back in the day, in that 60s sort of period, they really did take nerves of steel to drive, didn't they?
That, and there are not many safety factors in it. I'm sitting in about 80 litres of avgas.
So if you crash, you're in trouble, and let's hope that never happens.
It's not going to happen, I hope.
Well, I suppose at the end of the day, if you're out there circulating, having fun and still seeing some speed out of the car, that's the main thing, isn't it? Without putting the car at risk.
Well, that's the main thing. I don't put it in a risk situation. There are guys around me that are serious about their racing. I try not to get in the way because I know I can get them in the straights.
Well, racing's over here at the Phillip Island Classic Festival of Motorsport. It's been an exciting event. We can't get enough of historic racing and live and breathe it. I can't believe the amount of international competitors that have actually showed up here from all over the globe. It is incredible. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Man and Machine is brought to you by HiFlex Mobile Hose Service, Shannons Insurance for Motoring Enthusiasts, and the following sponsors.